So y'all know it's another Team Thursday. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this series right now. Finals, OKC, Pacers. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna get into the Diddy updates. We're gonna talk about the BT Awards. And, we're going to talk about a little more before we get on up out of here. What's up, 8,000? Okay, so let's start. Finals, OKC, Pacers, what y'all thinking? I'm a little bit shocked, okay? I'm a little bit shocked. I don't know if I would have thought Pacers would have been up right now, I don't know if I would have thought that, but, them Hail Marys, they making it happen. I actually, I took a look at the last poll I did for who y'all thought was gonna take it on that last game. I think 60-something% of y'all said OKC. I would have said the same thing. But Pacers not going down without a fight, I see. I don't even know if they're going to go down. They might shock y'all. I don't know. It's looking like it. If they win the next game, I think they have 70% chance of taking the whole thing. Let's see. Hobzilla said OKC all the way. I'm with you, and I would have thought the same thing, but it just seems like when it comes down to the wire, it seems like that's when the Pacers pull it out. When it comes down to the wire, that's when they make miracles happen, apparently. So we gonna see what's gonna happen with that. 305 say, I see you got beautiful island vibe on today, looking beautiful as always. Pacers gonna win the series in 6. You know what? I can't even argue with you too much on that because they showing improving. So I can't argue with you too much on that. We gonna see. I'm not. If I still had to bet my bottom dollar, I'll still say OKC. But if Pacers take the next game, I think they'll end up taking it all the way. Hobzilla said they have to keep the ball out of Halliburton's hands at the end. Yo, that's really the thing. I think he plays best under pressure. That's what it seems like to me, because I feel like he's shown us in so many games that when it comes down to the wire, he's going to make it happen. So that's really what they need to do. You're right about that. They need to keep the ball out of that boy's hands at the end of these games. Howzilla say he can shoot. Yo, talk about shooting a 3. I think the first time I ever seen somebody make 3s like that, where I was really what was Curry? But this boy's something special. I don't know. Let's see. Courtney said, I bet you $20 OKC win the next game. I'm not going to take that bet because I'm hoping so too. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'm not going to take that bet, but I'm telling you the bet I would take is if they don't win the next game, I don't think they'll end up taking it all. So that's the bet I will take. But next game, I give it to OKC. I don't think SGA and the boys gonna go down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna take that bet. I got faith in them boys. Okay, y'all. So we gonna see what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put up the next poll for the next game, and we gonna see if some of y'all are fair weather fans. Courtney said, "True. I see you a true NBA fan." You know what? I like sports in general because I like the competitiveness. I never thought I was a competitive person till one day I was playing bowling with my friends, and I really was like, yo, I cannot lose. And it's crazy because I'm not typically, I don't know. I guess I'd have to get back into competitive sports to see, am I competitive or not? I don't know. Okay, Courtney said, do you watch WNBA? Okay, so I think it was like a couple of years ago when the Liberty was in the finals. I was telling my broadcast channel, join the broadcast channel, y'all. I was telling them, like, yo, we gotta watch this. We gotta support our teams. So I don't watch WNBA all the time, but I try to support when it's people I know. I mean, now, we all know, some of the big names, right? So, I would catch it if I catch it, but I don't necessarily go out of my way to watch the WNBA. I probably should. Let's see. Okay, y'all. You know what? We gonna save the Diddy stuff for later, because I know that's the one that's really gonna be, the conversation. But let's see. Courtney said, "Can I take you to an NBA game one day?" I've been to an NBA game before. Actually saw the Knicks before. I don't want to encourage folks, because you know what? Me saying that would encourage people to make other proposals on these broadcasts, okay? And I'm not trying to turn it into that. I'm not trying to turn it into a shoot your shot session, right? Pun intended. Okay, y'all. So let's get into the BET Awards. Did you watch? Did you like it? What y'all thought? Let's see. Unc said, "Oh Lord, it's not that type of broadcast." Unc, see what you did, Courtney? Now people shooting they shot. All right, y'all. So BET Awards, what y'all thought about it? I thought it was, I don't know, the energy, the vibe felt a little different this year. I could see that they was trying to kind of put some life back into it. 8,000 said, "Can you travel to the UK to watch a premiere game?" You see what you started, Courtney? I knew it was going to go in this direction. Boa noite. Oh, obrigado. Shout out to my Brazilians that are watching, by the way. I see y'all in here with the Portuguese. Yo, listen, I don't know that much. Don't say too much. I don't know that much. You're going to have people coming here saying all types of stuff. Okay, Ung says Snoop's speech was dope. I think he's a great speaker because he seems like really comfortable on the stage. I mean, he's been doing it for so long. We're talking about Snoop Dogg's speech when he received that award. I guess you would call it like something similar to a lifetime achievement type of award. He's accepted so many of those that you could tell he's super comfortable on the stage. I was really excited about seeing Mariah take home her Icon Award. But I will say, I could tell they trying to do something new, and I don't know if this is attributed to the music space or like just where we are in right now in terms of creativity, but I feel like I still don't feel that spark of that new spark. I still don't quite feel that. Hey, Melanin said Brazilian colors. You already know. You already know. Yes, yes. Sing. Let's see. Mariah Carey winning that award, that felt fresh and that was fun and new. So I like seeing her up there because I feel like I don't know if she doesn't get enough of the accolades, or maybe in the past she didn't want to accept an award like that because it would make it seem as though her career was done. I know I've heard a lot of artists don't like to accept those sorts of awards for that reason. Courtney said Kevin Hart had me rolling. He too funny. You know what? Let me ask y'all, what y'all thought about Kai Cenat, Drewski, and Kevin Hart's little moment on the stage? Did y'all think that was funny? Or what y'all thought about that? Hey, Melanin said, hey, lovely, I see you staying cool. Thank you. Let's see. Courtney said Young Thug was tripping, dragging around Mariah the Scientist like that. We don't really know what... I've heard different theories about the whole Young Thug, Mariah the Scientist, dragging her along thing. I've heard that he knew certain things was going to happen during the show that he didn't want to be there for. But then he was dragging her along during the other parts of the show. So I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, if she like it, I love it. She's the only one... Him and her is the only ones that know what's really going on there. Melanin said that type of award mean you did your thing back in the day. Yeah, and I think a lot of artists feel like once they get that, people gonna start looking at them as, oh, you from back then. And they still creating, you know? I think that's why Mariah Carey said like she started accepting the icon title. Courtney said what kind of bag he was carrying. That raccoon, was that a that was a raccoon? Or I don't know what animal that was, and then he had the tail as a tie. I didn't think it was too bad, like, because I feel like that's sort of in line with the way he usually dress. But the mask that he had on at times, I felt like that was a lot. That was a lot. So Melvin said, I don't think them joking was that... Who you talking about? Who was joking, Melanin? Let me know. I will say, as far as like Drewski, Kai, and Kevin Hart, I've seen them have better chemistry before. Like when I've seen the clips of the lives of them together, I thought they had great chemistry. So I don't know if it's because that was more spontaneous. But there was a point when they were all on stage together and they were like kind of like going back and forth about reading the teleprompter. It was awkward to me. And the timing seemed off. You know when they talk about like comedic timing, the timing seemed off because timing is everything with comedy, right? So I just felt like certain things didn't hit the way they were supposed to because of that. Yeah, that Glorilla song, Rain On Me, I think it's called. When that album came out, Glorious, I was listening to that song so much. So I really was happy for her winning for that song. Because here's the thing, right? I feel like there's some people who maybe because of the types of expressions that they pay attention to, or the type of music they listen to, or the way they speak, they might not be into listening to Yolanda Adams all the time. So to have someone that speaks to them that they feel like it resonates, that means something. I feel like that song, at least for me and the people I know, that song had a big impact. So, you know, kudos to that woman. Yeah, okay, Melanin said, I listen to Rain on Me. Yeah, that song is so beautiful to me. It really is. And I thought she was going to say something about her name being, literally, isn't her name Gloria Hallelujah? I thought she would say something about that when she thanked her mom and said that this was her first BET award. But I don't know if she was like a little shocked or a little nervous or what. But I was so happy that she got that. Let's see, Alexi said, there is absolutely no one who can compare with Tima Thursday. Great vibes. Thank you. Y'all try to bring the vibes. Courtney said, your smile just made my day. Yo, I truly appreciate it. I was like, yo, I may be here, but I still gotta come on for my people. So I was trying to work it out because I actually had just went to dinner, and I was like, oh, I gotta get back. I gotta do my team on Thursday. So over here, you know, they do a lot of the rodizos, right? Like the all you can eat. So, yeah, I ate good. So I'm going to work out good today because I got my fair share of protein, okay? Thank you, 3000, talking about you, Schmaxy. Thank you. All right, y'all. So we going to move past that. And let's get back into this Diddy trial. Oh, Lord. This Jane Doe has been on the stand for a little minute, right? Telling her story. Shame is a big part of this whole thing. I felt like they were just using shame against Diddy. But clearly, shame is now also a tool for the defense. Shame is also a tool for the defense. Hey, talk about it, Melanin. Melanin said, no filter, and you still look good. Talk about it. Talk about it. I appreciate you. What's up, J Third? Lil Fred said, this whole Diddy trial is confusing. Tell me what's confusing to you. Here's what I will say about the whole shame thing and how the defense is using it, right? So they're trying to get certain, like, okay, you know how this witness is being allowed to testify as a Jane Doe? Well, there's some information about this Jane Doe's activities that involve other high-profile people, and the defense wants the names released. So the prosecution is basically saying this is like a tactic, right? But I'm like, y'all been using shame tactics this whole time. Lil Fred said, Diddy may have did some things, but I don't know about the trafficking and RICO. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people are iffy on the RICO, and the trafficking is such a gray area, right? Because they were saying that it was like by fraud, because according to this Jane Doe, she felt as though they were in a relationship, but throughout time she would come to realize that for him she was just a means to an end, like a a means, a way for him to get his fantasies fulfilled. It's such a great area because does the average person do that? Like basically mislead, and I'm not saying it's right. But do people mislead others that they are involved with to get what they want? Does that equals like criminal behavior? And if that is what we're saying is criminal at this point, what does that mean for future cases? What's the precedent here? Because I do feel like this case could be a landmark case that sets a precedent on how intimate partners interact with each other. So we will see. Now this jury is mostly men, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Let me not say that because I don't know these men and I don't know their history. But I think the average man at some point has fibbed in order to get certain things they wanted. I don't know how comfortable they would be with saying that this is criminal behavior that's punishable with these type of sentences. I mean, life. It's quite interesting. Okay, Lil Fred said half of those feminist women were willing participants and just scorned. They knew how Diddy was. He loved to party and be with multiple women. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm going to leave out the feminist women part because I feel like what happens when people use terms like that in a negative way, it's almost as if it's like turning that term into a negative thing. I've also heard that happen with girls girl, where people are trying to use that as a negative thing now, or to sort of profile a particular type of person. I don't want to do that, right? But here's what I will say. I think from what I've heard, the defense seems to have done a good job of showing that in at least some of these cases, these women were willing participants, right? I mean, they initiated some of this, but then they also said they initiated some of this to make their partner happy. That's where it gets confusing, because it's like, is it a crime? Is it a crime to want to please your partner? Can you then later come back and say, I didn't want to do this? So, and then what is going to be the limitation that we put on that as a society? That's where it gets confusing for me. What's up, Keyshawn? Talking about, oh my God, yes. Okay, I'm doing something right then. Okay, Keyshawn said he kind of weird and evil, but more weird. It is weird. I mean, I think anybody would say this is odd. This is odd. This is not what most people think of as normal. Especially like when you look into some of the specific acts. But okay, for example, right? So the Jane Doe. Remember I said that there are other high-profile people that they're trying to get their identities disclosed. The defense is trying to disclose the identities of other high-profile people that this Jane Doe was hanging out with, for lack of a better term, right? Associating with. I feel like in that case, it's like, okay, so is this a pattern of behavior for this person? And if so, how is it then that he's a criminal, but you doing these things with these other high profile people is not criminal activity? It's not trafficking for you to get on someone else's private jet and go somewhere to possibly engage in this sort of activity. Keyshawn, let me know, how is weird a crime? I mean, I guess it depends on the type of weird, so I see where you're going. A social crime, maybe. Criminal? I don't know. The coercion is vague when it comes to this particular Jane Doe. Lil Fred said kind of similar. I can't say that. Okay, so Lil Fred said kind of similar to the King of R&B situation. No, okay, I'm talking specifically about the people who were underage. There's nothing similar about that to me. I'm talking about if underage. I know that in the case people were saying, but these women were adults. That's different, but we do know that at some point this person was involved with underage people. So I can't compare the two in such a direct way. I think anyone who knowingly engages, come on, let's be real here. Let's be real here. Let's see. Rodman said, it's not a crime to please your partner, but the promises made and money exchanged for favors is murky. It's definitely murky. You're right on that, Rodman. It's definitely murky. But then it's up to the jury to say, okay, we got to sort this out. Where is the line drawn? So if this person was paying your rent, is it necessarily them paying for you to engage in this behavior? Now, the average person, me and you, yes, we can see that, right? But legality is such a different issue, right? To have to prove, especially to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, is very different from us just saying, yeah. That's the whole point of defense lawyers, because there are so many shades of gray there. Lil Fred said, possible identity of this Jane Doe we can't specifically get into, but a lot of people are speculating that it's a woman with ties to 50 Cent. So yeah, I mean, people have speculated that is the Jane Doe. So yeah. So apparently she wasn't. If it is, if these people are right in their speculation, she wasn't just at the parties. She's on the stand as well. Lil Fred said, they say it was man's victim too. That he was messing with, but there are no. I haven't heard of any men being part of this case. That's why it's hard for me to know for sure that part. I've heard a lot, even when I was a kid, like I'd hear people speculating about him being involved with men. But during this case, I mean, we haven't had solid proof of that. I mean, we've had proof of him wanting to watch men with the women he's involved with. I mean, can we say that's a little sus? Maybe, but it wasn't him engaging directly. So, Lil Fred said he was just a person who let all the money, power, and fame get the best of him. It's hard for me to say that, because you ever heard the phrase money just shows who you are? Like, it just amplifies who you are. It doesn't change you necessarily. It just amplifies who you are. So there are people in this world, if you gave them all the money in the world, they would not be engaging in these particular activities. They would just do more of the things they like. So, you know, letting the money get to his head, there are people who do this kind of stuff that don't have the money that he has. It's just easier. He has more access. And now, because of the money, here's where it gets murky. He's able to use what they're saying as coercion at this point, right? Because he has the resources. Dreezy said, what's up, Dreezy? Said she just mad because Diddy told her that he likes to watch his women drink milk. Thank you for using a euphemism. Thank you. From a small saucer. Oh my God. Let's see. Hey, God come first. I told you I love that name. Said everyone that participated in that dark sacrifice. Okay, I'm trying to understand that though. Is that what y'all think this is? Or is this just somebody like being freaky? I mean, is there a tie to this and something like sacrificial? Or is this just like people being freaky? I don't know. Let's see. Keyshawn said, lusting is a sin he liked to watch. Okay, I get what you're saying. But criminality and sin is not necessary, because there are things that are considered to be sinful that are not criminal. Like, what's this I'm thinking of? Gluttony. Gluttony is not a crime, but it's considered to be sinful. Isn't it one of the deadly sins? So, okay, Melanin said they gonna call it Illuminati ritual. Too much YouTube. You know what? Look, I feel like because the average person has just heard these terms, we can apply it to almost anything. Just because someone is part of something, who knows, right? Let's just say he's part of the Illuminati, right? Let's say he is, or once was, or some other secret society, because I've heard a bunch of them being thrown around. It does not mean everything he does is reflective of that society. It could just be things he's personally into. It sounds like he's just personally into that. Because I haven't heard that it was a room full of other people in these secret societies watching this go down. I heard it was him, the worker, and the woman. Hola. Okay, Keyshawn said his explicit parties is a motivation he never had while he was younger. You know what I heard? So one of the things I heard that he might have been exposed to some of this behavior when he was younger. So Melanin said, I simply think he just a dude fulfilling his desires. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. That he had these freaky thoughts, fantasies, ideas. And when he had more money, he had more access to making these things come true. And it seems as though the more money he had, he wanted to engage in this activity and engage in his fantasies all the time. Hence having all these women doing this. Hey, what's up, Timba? Timba said, there's the glow I missed. It's great to see you. Hope all is well. All is well. I'm having a great birthday month. So yeah, but you know, I have to come on and say hi to my people and my subscribers. Y'all been seeing me. Let's see. God come first said more money, more problems. But you know what? It really depends what you do with the money. Because there's some people we really don't hear this sort of stuff about. God come first said you're never satisfied. That is true. Yo, there's this quote by Bob Marley where he says, like, money is just numbers, and like, if you're chasing money, you'll never be satisfied. So it just seemed like he was chasing money and those desires. And it was never enough to fill him. He could never quite get his fill of it, right? Let's see. Melanin said, it's hard to throw these parties when you work at Walmart. Money makes things happen. Exactly. Having that access. Right? So maybe the average dude who into this type stuff, maybe he got one girlfriend that he manipulating her into doing this with his homeboy or something like that. But you take that same dude that already has those desires and you give him $100K, he gonna spend a good bit of that getting the person he wants to see. I don't even know what's a euphemism for that. Down and dirty. He gonna spend a good bit of money to make that happen as many times as he could see, probably. Let's see. Keyshawn said he was never attractive. You know, I will say I've never heard anybody really say that, like, oh, look at Diddy. But I also think part of that had to do with all the rumors that were swirling around him, where it just seemed like I told y'all, even when I was a kid, I would hear, I didn't hear this stuff. I do not know about this, but I would hear, like I'm sure a lot of y'all heard, that he was interested in other men. Not, obviously that's, don't make him a bad person or nothing, but it didn't make him, I feel like for a lot of women, it didn't make him desirable, particularly. Melanin said, and certain people might do things that they think that they wouldn't do in the presence of somebody who could change their life. Exactly. So that probably goes into the mindset of these women texting him things and being the initiators of some of this stuff, right? Because they're thinking about the money and the lifestyle. We just have to be honest. If they, and I believe that they didn't like it. When they say that they did not enjoy that sort of behavior, I believe them. So then you think, well, why would they be messaging him that they want these things, because they're thinking about the end goal. They're thinking about the money. I mean, at one point, the Jane Doe went and did one of his freak offs, and then later on messaged him and asked for money. Of course, she gave certain reasons. She said she needed things for her house and such, but it makes it seem as though, in her mind at least, there was a direct correlation between the lifestyle and resources he could provide her and her engaging in those acts. Little Fred says, some people already be fighting demons, so when they get all that money, power, and fame, it makes them feel invincible, like they can do it. You are absolutely right. Whatever they want. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know what I be thinking about? If Cassie's lawsuit had never become public, if he had simply paid her under the table, we wouldn't, it is very likely we wouldn't know any of this, right? Because when that lawsuit came out and people saw how quickly he settled that, it emboldened a whole bunch of people to say, hey, I went through that too. People who would have probably took it to their grave, especially because of the shame, right? But you tell somebody, hey, for that shame you could get $10 million, they gonna take the M's. They gonna take the M's. Keyshawn said Diddy was chasing a young man's dream for explicit activity. Do you think that's most... Keyshawn, do you think that most young men dream of that, though? Like, they might dream of having a lot of women, right? I think that's like probably a common dream for young men, right? Of having a lot of women themselves. I think it's a much smaller portion that their dream is to see their women with others, right? Let's see. But yeah, it's getting interesting. If they reveal these people identities, I'm gonna be like, why are these people catching strays? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. It's none of our business. Let's see. Melanin said, ain't a young dream. As long as the eggplant work, we got dreams out here. Lil Fred said, I'm 28 and behind on my peers and never experienced my fantasy with females before, nor had any yet still, cause I had been antisocial and a little autistic. I think a lot of people are a little autistic. I think it's a common thing. I think most people who are just slightly autistic just learn to cope, right? Or learn to hide certain behaviors so they can fit in. But I think a lot of people are a little autistic. A lot of people forget it's a spectrum. So, yeah, I think there are a lot of adults that are just now being diagnosed. I do think that it's come to a point where people like brush it off just because it's starting to seem so common for people to say that, or it almost sounds like an excuse for particular behaviors. But I think it's a lot more common than we think. Hey, Melanin with the love once again. Appreciate you. Keyshawn said, all men want to control women. Okay, that's what you meant. I agree. I agree. But I don't know if it's even just a male thing. But I do think it's more common in men. But I think there are some personality types that control is a thing. And I do think more of those are males. So I think you're right. I do think you're right. Yeah. That's what you meant by young men's dream. Controlling women, that seems to be a big thing for him. He's able to use that money to control these women. I will say though, the Jane Doe, what she settled for, I'm talking about settled for in terms of her doing all these things and what she was getting out of it is shocking. It's shocking. Like, when you hear all the things she went through, how many of the workers she was, engaging in and all that, and then you hear certain numbers, it's like, that was worth it? I don't know. Let's see. Cunningham said, you look so gorgeous. Thank you. Let's see. Hoop Life said, you look familiar, Queen. Tell me. Cause I don't know. I don't see your, I'm not seeing your profile picture that good. Familiar from where? Yo, speaking of that, I had somebody that was messaging me for like 2-3 years saying they knew me from a place that I had never been, right? I figured out this person would look at my post, try to figure out where I was at in the post, and say, oh, I know you from there. I know you. This person said they knew me from New Jersey when I was younger. I never lived in New Jersey in my life, right? But they said that because I had a post where someone said, hey, I saw you today. You were near, and it was a particular location in New Jersey. I said, yeah, I was there. So from then, this person kept messaging me that they had met, they knew me from our childhood in New Jersey, never lived in Jersey, even as an adult in my whole life, right? This same person then went under a post where I specified the location I was at. It was a particular borough in New York City, right? And then they said, oh, you don't remember me from this particular place, blah, blah, blah. I used to live over there, as if I hadn't seen you from years before, saying you knew me from a childhood in New Jersey, a place I never lived. So, and I tried to keep it like, I tried to, keep it cool. I tried to be like, I was like, oh, nah, but you know what, all right. I tried to keep it cool till they said something, and then I just had to say, you're lying. I just had to say that, and I didn't want to completely bust them out about all the years that they've been doing this, but it made me think like, yo, people are really crazy out here. What would let's say I had grew up in Jersey and I said, oh yeah, I remember. What was your plan? Like, that really makes me think, what was your plan? What kind of somebody, wait a minute, did Dreezy just say it was the diddler? Oh my, not today, Diddy. Oh Lord, let me not do. Oh Lord, let's see. Keyshawn said Diddy got caught up in the hype. Guilty. You cannot just say guilty because he got caught up in the hype. I mean, this is tough. This gotta be tough. 3000 said, let's be friends and teach me English. I texted you DM. I don't check DMs. People know that. Y'all know that. I say it all the time. I do not check DMs. Listen, people used to be sending the craziest things. I used to be like, yo, there's a lot in there. That's why I don't go in them DMs. But every once in a while, like I'll check it or whatever. Like, I'll look in there. But it's not something, I'm not one of those people that really religiously goes through my DMs. But every once in a while I will. Let's see. Melanin said it's called cold reading. He's just real bad at it. You know what? I'm gonna look that up because, like, what's the intention of those type of people? Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. So Lil Fred is adding on to what Keyshawn said, and he said, Diddy let them demons and addictions and uncontrollable urges get the best of him. Definitely agree. I definitely agree with you and Keyshawn when it comes to that. You know what? I think whenever you get to the point where something other than you is taking control of you, whether it just be your urges, whether it be a substance, whether it be something as simple as shopping or food, anything. Whenever you get to that point, that's when you're at risk of losing it all. Right? Because you've already lost yourself. Next comes what you love, what you have. Let's see. Okay, Melanin said, imagine your chat being part of the jury. He'd be going down. If my chat was part of the jury, he'd be going down. Because look how y'all talking. But I don't. He wouldn't be going down for life though. I feel like y'all probably put him in a rehab program or something like that. Y'all probably be like, okay, for beating that girl, y'all probably give him 10 years and then put him in a rehab program for like a good 3 years, then a halfway house. Let's see. Keyshawn said the rest of life in prison and take away all his money is sick. The life in prison is where I'm like, like, I don't know about that. See, I know my people. I know y'all wasn't going for that. Night Rider said, Tima, I hate that we didn't make it to forever. What? Probably won't get back together. I do not even know you. Stop that. Why would you write this? But that don't mean that I can't wish you better. We ain't good, but we still. Why would you write this? We do not know each other. Why do people do this? Then he put mad broken hearts. Yo, and that's the thing, right? I'll mess around and miss a message like that, and people will really think I know this person. Hey, somebody in here called Natural Fingernails joined. I told y'all, shout out to my nail people that follow me. This is actually, I gotta do them again, but when Drizzy suggested I do the French, so this is the French. It's chipping now because I only use regular polish. I don't use gel on my fingers because it makes your nails weak when you take off the gel. Let's see. Hey, somebody said hi. Who that? Who that? Big Rob. What's up, What's up, Rob? Melanin said cold reading is gaining information for the purpose of manipulation. Got you. Got you. Okay. Lil Fred said, I'm 21, still got my V card. It's sometimes uncontrollable. Still never had women because it's not easy for every man out here to get any. But I'm glad I control myself. Okay, you know what? And there's something admirable about that, right? There's something admirable about that. I don't think a lot of people could have made it this far. So good for you. As long as you happy with your life, that's all that matters. Melanin says 6 months got every open bottle of baby oil. Yo, the baby oil. It'll forever be tainted. I was in a store today, right? Like picking up like just regular supplies, right? Like hair products, regular stuff, right? And then like stuff I might have forgotten from my bag. So then I seen the baby oil. I low-key was about to get some because I be thinking like it's a good occlusive for the skin. But then I was like, just can't do it. Can't look at baby oil the same. Okay, Lil Fred said people having addictions, fighting demons shouldn't really get life in prison though. That don't help them. They just need real psychological help. See, I knew y'all was going to talk about putting him in some sort of rehab. Okay, 444 said Diddy guilty of being a horrible person, but not Rico. You know, that's the one that I think they're gonna have the hardest time proving. But it's not that. If we look at it in a vacuum, he did. If we look at it in a vacuum, right, and just say, well, he had his employees doing this and that, but I think the average person is not going to be able to view it in a vacuum. So they really got to make a case for that. And even still, I think that's the charge that's is gonna take a little longer to get everyone to agree on. Keyshawn said Keyshawn, why would you write this about that lady? Okay. Y'all can read that comment for yourself. G Smooth said, baby girl, why you haven't answered none of my questions? What questions? My bad, I ain't see them. Lil Fred said, yeah, my temporary ways to keep from going completely insane. I just be a late bloomer, obviously, probably getting females in my 30s one day. You know what? I'm going to tell you, you could probably meet somebody now. I think a lot of people be thinking they gotta, like in their mindset, it's like, oh, I gotta go to where I think these people are. No, go to places you like you genuinely like. If you like going to the library, go to the library. There are women there who like going to the library. If you like, I'm going to just say something random. If you like knitting, go to a knitting class. There are going to be women there who like knitting. Like, it's not that hard. I think it's just people get stuck in their minds, so they think it's hard. They think they got to meet somebody at a club or something like that. If you just live your life and do things you genuinely enjoy, you will meet someone in those spaces that also enjoys the things you do. So you already one up because you have something in common with them. Melanin said you could be the only person in Brazil talking about Diddy, or at least the 1%. I'm still waiting to see if anybody's gonna bring up Diddy when I meet them, because I told y'all, they always bring up Trump. Like, as soon as they be like, oh, like what country I'm from, and I'd be like, Estados Unidos, and they'll be like, Trump. So I'm waiting to hear them say Diddy, baby oil, Johnson and Johnson, freak oil. I don't think, hopefully they're not gonna say that. Let's see. Javon said you're beautiful, team, pretty feet. Thank you. I'm gonna show y'all my pedicure. It's so cute. But maybe another time. Who knows? Let's see. Javon's. Oh yeah, I read that. Lil Pooh said, oh no. Melanin said to Lil Pooh, focus on you 100%. Kind of, this has been what has helped me in life. Just live. Everything will work itself out. Look, Keyshawn giving you some advice. He said women like men with taste. Keyshawn said it's time to drop the big bomb, Elon Musk. Talking about freak offs. Oh Lord. We talked about the NBA games, Keyshawn, but what you got to add on that? Were you talking about what women like again? Okay, Lil Fred said that Melanin is right. Definitely got to work on himself. Life's far from good, from how it's supposed to be. A bit slow in development, but I'll get there though and finally get the women. Lil Fred, you know what? I think you a lot further than you think you are. The fact that you can even admit that about yourself, you're further than a lot of people. Because a lot of people are out here living like life in an insincere way. It sounds like you're sincere, and it sounds like you're very introspective. So you're ahead of a lot of people, you know. Hey, wait a minute. I see my folks from NOLA. See? You see that? I got that the first time. What's up, Eli and Ace? Keyshawn said OKC did their job right. I mean, but they down right now, though. Y'all, can y'all say SGA's name, the G part? Can y'all say that? Can y'all say it? We should have a thing. I should have y'all come on these lives and try to say that name. But y'all, before we leave, I've had an amazing time. I appreciate y'all stopping by. See, listen, when I said I was coming with the consistency, okay? But before, Melanin said to Lil Fred, it's easier to become attractive than to chase people. Absolutely. Just work on you, bro. Absolutely. When people see that you're pouring into you, that's when they start saying, "Oh, let me check this person out. What they got going on?" You know, people could feel that energy too. Then they become interested. But before we go, y'all, I also want to say, okay, y'all heard about Ananda Lewis passing? Y'all, that really hit me. That really hit me. I remember being a little girl watching the Ananda Lewis show. And I remember I always thought she was so beautiful and so chic. And I hadn't heard about her in a while. I'm not one of these people that's gonna be like, I was always keeping up with her. I hadn't heard about her in a while, but it shocked me to hear that she had passed, especially the way she had passed. So especially for the ladies out there, please get those mammograms, do the self-checks to make sure you're good. If you feel anything out of place or anything new or odd, go to your doctor. You know, they always say like finding those types of things early, because she did pass of her battle with breast cancer. So finding things early, that's gonna be your best bet. You know, making sure you come out victorious in that fight. So y'all, man, that really hit me. You know, prayers to her family, prayers to her son. And I want to end this show with some, like a little moment of quiet for Ananda Lewis. All right, y'all. Everybody, y'all know what I say at the end of this and every broadcast. Everybody stay safe and stay blessed.